You are so dearly... Stop it. You are so dearly loved by so many. You have this genius way of making people laugh, whatever the situation. You love the most simple things in life, well, apart from cars and bikes. So, enough bigging you up. I need to talk about Dear Deirdre. Has everybody seen these pictures over here? Because it is true. Loads of people have asked me tonight, is it true? Si, being such a great Dear Deirdre, decided to star in the Sun newspaper. And his celebrity part involved basically being involved in bed with lots and lots of different busty women for 10 weeks. And when I said to him I didn't particularly like this, he assured me that it was great for business and that I should, you know, encourage him to do it. But my dad wasn't too chuffed when he went down to the pub and there was all the boys there with the Sun newspaper and they were like, Sam, isn't that Tanya's boyfriend? I was thinking though, there's really one good thing about Si not drinking tonight, and that is that we won't be subjected to his showing us his new scar, dropping his trousers, and doing any party tricks which are the norm in these situations. Anyone that was with us on New Year's Eve will have witnessed Si pulling the Christmas tree lights off the Christmas tree and lighting up his lefty. And pulling down the Christmas tree at the same time. It's true. On a more serious note, and to end this, thank you for being you, babe. Thank you for always being there for me.
He wrote that, didn't he?
Thank you for being such a cool daddy, and I really hope you have a brilliant time tonight. I know it's hard for you and you're aching. So let's raise a toast to Si and say happy birthday. Actually, we also need to raise a toast to Nicky, whose birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Nick.
Happy birthday. I would raise a glass, but I'm not allowed one. Yeah, I've got a few things to say as well, but I don't know if I'm allowed If anyone wants a drink, I'll get it now. Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Microphone check.
No, you've only got one side.
Dearly beloved. Right, I've got to apologise because since the accident my memory has got even worse. So rather than me stand here trying to pretend that I'm going to do a speech off the cuff, it's probably going to come across that I'm just reading it, so I'm just going to read it. It's a bit of a weird one this, because... What? Sorry mate. It's a bit of a weird one this, because a little over a month ago I had thought about putting together a short, tongue-in-cheek sort of speech to say how amazed I am, and those who know me well probably are too, that I've even made it to the grand age of 40. After the fast bikes, fast cars, and dare I say it, fast women, along with the not unusual all-night wild child antics that played a prevalent part of weekends during my 20s and early 30s, sharing those amazing, albeit rather jaded memories with a few of you guys here this evening. It's probably quite difficult for some of the more sensible amongst us here tonight to believe that I'm actually still here. But I've always thought if Ozzy Osbourne can do it, then so can I. Now, I thought I should talk a little bit about recent events, as this is the first time I will have seen most of you since my Evel Knievel shenanigans. I'm truly sorry to those of you who wanted to come and visit, as I was genuinely in a right heap for much of the last few weeks. This is one of the main reasons why I so wanted to continue with the party and see you all tonight. I think it's fair to say that for me, life changed last month. Prior to this, apart from a cancer scare a few years back, life had little had ever made me properly stop, look around, appreciate life and think twice about how lucky I am to have such a wonderful friends and a beautiful, loving and healthy family. Without wishing to get too melodramatic, this did. As a result, I'm afraid the speech got a little bit longer. Sorry. So I hope you don't mind, but I might get a bit wobbly through this, so I'm not very good at speeches, so bear with me. After getting knocked off my bike on the 17th of September and being airlifted to Addenbrooke's, the accident left me needing 8 litres of donor blood, having sustained some pretty serious internal injuries and broken bones. Again, a bit like Ozzy Osbourne. Now, I'm not 100% Jewish anymore, I'm a bit Nigerian, a little bit Indian. I still struggle to believe that I'm actually still alive. I often wonder if I'm really me, or is this a parallel universe I'm now in? Is this what happens? It's all a bit surreal, or is it just the drugs? I just don't know. Whilst my injury list might seem pretty grim to most, it really wasn't too bad for me at the time. What I've learned is that the ones who really suffer in these situations are often those nearest and dearest to the people in the accident. I, on the other hand, was pumped full of morphine, in a drug-induced coma for 28 hours, had a machine breathing for me, and didn't actually have a clue what was going on. In fact, the drugs were that good, at one point I thought it was 1996, all over again, and I was off my chops either at Emporium or Legends with the fellas. I won't incriminate anyone, but you know who you are. I have some seriously big thank yous to mention after Tanya was very nearly left without a hubby and my 2 young sons, Jacob and Reuben. Here we go. Without their dad. So, if you don't mind, I want to tell you a little bit about Hearts Air Ambulance, as they really are very special people and I do feel indebted to them. The life-saving medical team who fly from emergency to tragedy really are miracle workers. I've only just learned that, astonishingly, these guys don't get a single penny from the government for their service. It's totally charity-based, and as an insurance or safety net for us all, it's something which I feel local people especially should be very mindful of. You never know when you or someone else might suddenly be desperate for an emergency ride on a large chopper. With an annual cash burn of £4.2 million, which is slightly more than Tanya's, I've also learned that Hearts Air Ambulance is currently close to running out of money and the government are unlikely to step in anytime soon. I trust you'll agree that it would be a disaster if it weren't there at the ready. I, for one, would almost certainly not be standing here now had it not come to my rescue. Anyway, perhaps you'd like to look them up if you live locally, and if you see any value in having them there just in case, you can decide then if you'd like to support them too. Anyway, my most sincerest and heartfelt thanks goes out to all the guys who run this amazing service, and also to you for coming this evening. I'm so happy to be standing here, seeing you all looking so fantastic and enjoying yourselves. If you can bear with me, I want to say a bunch of other thank yous whilst everyone is together. Firstly, for the masses of get well cards and gifts, as well as the other offers of help. The love, care, tenderness and generosity my family and I have experienced from all of you has been nothing less than overwhelming. We are so incredibly lucky to have you as friends. I'd also like to mention extra special thanks to our great friends Anthony and Carmel, who, due to holiday commitments, sadly couldn't be with us tonight, for looking after our children ad hoc, and the wonderful home-cooked meals Carmel made for us. Debbie and Mickey B, Jacob and Reuben's new pretty much adopted parents, who have been brilliant, as well as David and Ev, and Joe and Andy, our wonderful neighbours, for also looking after the children. Always at ridiculously short notice, without ever a complaint, and to Joe for preparing the wonderful homemade soups, which have certainly helped nurse me back to health. Thanks, Joe. One other massive thanks and special shout out I really must make is to another very special friend, Ian Baxter. Where are you, Ian? Ian's travelled all the way from Sacramento, California, almost 5,500 miles away, especially to be with us this evening, just like he did for our wedding. Ian, you don't know how much this means to Tanya, and I really appreciate it, mate. Thanks. I promise I'll be at your 50th next year in Sacramento. Ian is one of about 6 very close long-term friends who, given the chance, I would have chosen as siblings and not lovers, as my wife often insists, having spent so much time with them over the years. We've shared some pretty amazing, crazy times, laughs and conversations together over the years. You all know who you are, and I'm afraid you are all still lumbered with me. I just want to say one final but enormous thanks and appreciation to Lee, Dave, Rachel, Mike and Karen, my brilliant colleagues at Symbion, for keeping the ship sailing whilst I've been out of action. It's been a really tough few years in the print trade, but you've never given up on me or the business. You guys have been utterly fantastic. And yeah, okay, I accept the business does run better when I'm not there. Thanks also for the birthday gifts, especially Dolly the sexy inflatable sheep, who is up there on the speaker. I'm sure this will come in handy over time. And thanks to all the guys at Juice, Symbion sister company, for their brilliantly innovative gifts and care, as well as keeping the business flying on successfully. Still going, I'm finished. Now, from the day we met, one thing has always been very important to both Tanya and I, and that is to keep our friends as close as is possible, and to try and make the effort come rain or shine. Some of you here tonight have grown up with us over the years, and some of you we've known for less time, but all of you were invited here tonight because you have a special place in our hearts. Well, I guess we must... Oh, sorry, one gone wrong. Now, a little over 10 years ago, I married my beautiful Tanya. It all started with a spectacular wedding at Woburn Abbey. Some of you were there with us. In many ways, to me, it seems it was only last week, and that day was the sort of experience that only dreams are made from. Well, I guess we must have started as we meant to go on. 10 years later, it's still like a dream. In fact, I still look at Tanya and often pinch myself to find out that she actually I actually snared such a beautiful person. To me, Tanya isn't just stunning to look at, but what you see on the outside is what you get on the inside too, sheer gorgeousness. Since the day we met 16 years back, Tanya has given us 2 beautiful sons, Jacob and Reuben. What's more, Tanya's equally as incredible both as a mum and as a wife. And astonishingly, she still doesn't look a day older than the day we met all those years ago. In fact, and I'm really not just saying this, she looks even more vivacious, sexy and dazzling than she did all that time ago. So, thank you. So, I'd just like to raise a glass that I haven't got because I'm not allowed to drink, and say to her and to you all that you're all very special to me, and thank you for being a part of my life so far. Cheers, mate. Cheers, Andy. It's been one hell of an action-packed and emotional ride. I only hope you'll join me for the rest of the journey, as it could never be the same without you. Just please try not to put off until tomorrow what you'd enjoy doing today, because none of us really know what's around the corner. Thank you all again for everything. Now please go and make some extraordinary shapes on the dance floor and have a really fabulous night.
What are you doing now?